Good evening, gang. What an interesting day, huh? Cryptocurrency, not doing much. It did call for a milk moment. Of course, kefir milk, the proper stuff, not from the mad cows, as they say. It is goat's milk, man. The purest and the finest. Designed to improve that gut bacteria. You know, again, a few issues, headaches and all of that. But I'm booked into a chiropractor. And he's going to be snapping up my neck like every 2 minutes and be like, yup, that should be solving it. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm pretty much set for next week. So if I look like I'm doing yoga on the streams, you know what Mr. Chiropractor has done. Of course, I'm Dr. Vector, but if he wants to talk candlesticks and charts, then I'll be happy to discuss it. Speaking of which, we got a little bit more flavor coming into the charts soon. Listen to this. So the SEC's problem with this ETF, in principle, is the sharing surveillance. Who's buying it? Who's selling it? We don't want you working with unregistered exchanges or brokers. We want to know everything. This is why you see a lot of activity on the CME, because it's the futures markets. This is where everything is disclosed. There's no hush-hush. There may be manipulation in terms of price itself, but a transaction is a transaction. If someone buys 500 contracts, we're going to see them buying 500 contracts, okay? We don't know who, but we know someone's purchased 500 contracts. At the same time, they've sold it as well. Now, what's this story about the SEC and why it's good news? Well, we're going into the article very shortly. But what I'm doing in tonight's live is going to break down how this article, in principle, is showing that the SEC, in principle, is gunning for cryptocurrency because institutional investors are obliged by regulation, okay? They have to take certain... Let me put it to you like this. Check this out. You see this book? This book is from the London Institute of Banking and Finance, right? There's 3 of these books. I have to study them. Why? So that I can become a financial advisor. So I will be soon enough, hopefully, be able to turn around and say to you on live, with no hesitation, I'd be able to provide financial advice. Now, I've got the test very soon, and I've already studied this stuff anyway. This is just advanced financial advice book. Talks about lots of things in terms of inheritance tax, types of money markets you can invest in, and all that gag. So, what am I saying? That's legislation. That is regulation. That's what the SEC is all about. So what do I mean about this sharing surveillance? Well, as it stands, the SEC is asking for amendments to the Bitcoin ETF, which means these amendments, if they do get accepted by the players who are pushing for this ETF, then that is great news for crypto, okay? So I'm going to talk about that literally in a few minutes. I'm going to dive into a couple of trades that I shared today and one not so long ago. One was on Euro and one was on Ethereum. Okay, I'm going to be diving into that bad boy and I'm going to be explaining to you my logic of using the hybrid system with order flow. Okay, so just before I continue, when it comes to getting all these packages and softwares regarding data, all right, you don't need to feel obliged to buy everything, all right, because it does come to a handsome fee every single month, all right? You've got to buy the platform that you will be using and basing decisions off. If you're not using it for decisions in your trading and it's there for you to just load up one day when you feel like it, you're wasting your money. So you've got to make sure you make the distinction and say, okay, I'm going to use this platform for my trading. Not necessarily take trades off, but make your analysis through and through with the understanding of how to use the order flow. All right? So keep that in mind. More importantly, let's get to the charts, man. Let's understand what's been going on. Good evening, all, by the way. I hope you're all doing well. Okay? What's this guy saying? No one cares, blah, blah. What the hell? Why are you in here? Anyways, don't get me started. Today is not the day. Trust me. Today is not the day. So let's get with it. What have we got? Bitcoin took a nice little run to the downside, spiked up. Nice. Now, this is where it gets interesting, okay? Because this ETF story, as much as people are like, no, it's not, it's this, it's not. Listen, when you've got heavyweights behind it, trying to push for it, it means that they can transact on it, they can make money off it, all right? And we know BlackRock ain't about not making money, all right? They're already trying to pull together a few pools of liquidity to start lending, all right? Asset manager that manages nearly $9 trillion is now going to start stepping into the game of lending. So, you know, they're going to make sure that they do the right thing. So if they're knocking on the SEC's door and the SEC is saying, look, can you make life a bit easier when it comes to us accepting this Bitcoin ETF? Well, then this is where it comes into play. Check this. SEC allegedly wants spot Bitcoin ETFs to do cash crates, not crypto. All right. Someone sees not crypto. They think, oh, my God, oh, my God. All right. Now, the article goes on to talk about the idea that the cash crates itself will allow, let me just summarize it all for you right here, okay? So this is where it is. Cash crates in spot Bitcoin ETF. It's introduced as a method to facilitate transactions in Bitcoin for these ETFs. So under this model, the ETF issuers, such as BlackRock, rather than broker-dealers, would handle the actual Bitcoin transactions. So originally, it'll be brokers and dealers who would handle the Bitcoin transactions. This thing that the SEC wants to do is effectively going to allow the ETF issuers provide the Bitcoin ETF in principle, okay? So this method will theoretically allow institutional players to engage with Bitcoin indirectly, bypassing the need to use unregistered subsidiaries or third-party firms. Goodbye Binance, goodbye Bybit, goodbye any other exchange that may not be legislated. Good evening, good morning, hello, Coinbase. So far right now, Coinbase seems to be the main player that can facilitate such an option. You go to Coinbase, and you've seen me do this before, type that bad boy, and what do you see? You see Coinbase says, develops platform to invest in use of crypto assets for retail users, institutions, and ecosystem partners, all right? So we can understand that Coinbase could be gunning for the offering of the ETF as well, give them the option to do it. You can go and buy it in all sorts of places, all right? But this is a huge thing for crypto. It's huge because it shows that the SEC is willing to step in and say, all right, you want to do it, we want this, okay? Now, it's all about the sharing surveillance agreement, who's buying, who's selling, and this allows them to really... It's a big step for the ETF because it shows in principle the SEC's attempt to say, all right, we're in agreement with you, but we need this. And if they start talking to exchanges that are legislated, which will be allowing the institutional investors to offer the ETF, then if they get through the red tape, it's happy days to the upside, ladies and gentlemen. Yippee-ki-yay. And this is what it is. The deadline, look, they come out with certain deadlines for global export Bitcoin ETFs and all that. We spoke about that 2 days ago. No problems, okay? More concerning thing about this actual article itself is the shininess on, you know, Gary's forehead. Look at that. There's a reflection in... Anyways, let's get with the flavor tonight. We've got Bitcoin making a little bit of movement. So let's just talk about what happened today in the chart. So... right here, what have we got? So first I'm going to talk about Euro. Euro's been showing some very interesting moves today. We projected Euro for the guys in the Platinum members, a projection of the target towards the around about the 109,200 mark. That's what we wanted, the range daily high. And it turned out that we actually managed to clear towards that zone, as you can see, nearly taking it, but the ranges have reset in principle right now. So we just missed it ever so slightly from, we missed it by 13 pips, but from the daily open today, that worked a treat right there. So a nice, what was it? Let's have a look. I know Ethereum's moving. I'll talk about that in a sec. Yeah, a nice 66 pips. Okay, so happy days to anyone that exploited that. On top of that, we've also got today with the NASDAQ. Now, NASDAQ was being very tricky, but I shared this projection after the live stream talking about what NASDAQ was getting ready to do. Now, NASDAQ has the tendency, trading at the lows of the day or at the start of a new session, it moves lower to sweep liquidity, okay? And when they sweep the liquidity, if they're going to engage in holding this current range, then naturally we're going to be expecting prices to move up, okay? So this is what had happened with NASDAQ straight after. So here it is right here. You can see that our little W formation built in the idea, and we wanted the 15,900, and we got the 15,900, and we got some more as well. And the Nasdaq topped out at 15,940. So that worked out a treat. But look, you go in to draw a W formation with the anticipation of this structure forming. Did they form it? They did form it, but look at what they did. They came down, they come up, they come down, they come up, they came down, and then smack bang during the London close, they went yippee-ki-yay to the upside. When the US gets free roam of the marketplace, then it can do whatever it wants. And then we saw that move up for them to only come back down again. VWAP it's always getting respected. Why? Because it's the volume-weighted average price. Now, let's get into something more interesting. So, earlier, I closed off my long on Ethereum, but I didn't close it at the close of my stop loss. I closed it before that. Why? So let me explain it to you right now. So earlier on in the Discord, I started to notice some flavor on Ethereum, okay? Check this out. I'm going to expand this up, all right? So I came into the Discord and I said there is a potential reversal on Ethereum and Bitcoin coming up. Big orders are coming in on EXO. Now, you might not be able to see it clearly, but the charts right here show that Ethereum at the lowest point after they had spiked at the lowest point today, all right, which got the price to around the 1902. Give me a second. I'll tell you where it was. Come on. Don't do that to me. Here we are. All right, then. So it was in this area right here, okay? This zone. Now, I was paying close attention to the orders. Now, let me zoom in, okay? What did we say earlier on about the order flow? When we were talking about the idea that delta at the lowest point or activity at the lowest point of the chart is always going to give us a promise that they are likely to move up, okay? So I was waiting patiently, and you can see it went all the way down to 1903. I had my stop loss at 1900. It then instantly came back up because I was watching this and I could see that there was exhaustion. Why? Because you can see right there, where are the buyers on the other side of the ask? No one was there. It was a snap reversal. They shot back up, okay? So I then said to myself, right, I'm closing off my position. Where's the trade? I left money on the table, guys, straight up. Let me just pull it up right now. Where is that thing? Here we go. Mexi, right there. I left money on the table. That was at like 3,000%. I left money on the table standard because it was a swing trade. And I was expecting at some point the actual ETF, something to happen with the ETF. It didn't fucking happen. Guess what? Done. Closed off the trade, 4.5 racks. Happy days. Next trade. So this is what happens here. Notice that we start seeing some activity coming in. All of a sudden, 697 orders came in at this point on Ethereum, which sat at the 1912. So I'm thinking to myself, hold on a second, bruv, hold on. By principle of order flow, out of the average, I ain't seeing nothing else inside of this area suggesting to me that they want to go lower. What's the highest order here? I'm not seeing it. The highest order was at 1.3 right there, but that was the trap because the sellers were exhausted. Because they just kept selling and selling and selling. And then it was like, no, sorry, we can't allow that. Up it goes. So the market automatically lifts. Okay. I saw that 697, right? And it was at that point in the Discord where I was like, look, potential reversal coming in. So I then started talking about the idea. Okay. So the big sell, and this is what I said next. So the big sell that has appeared. Now listen to this. This is not me trying to pitch to you the membership. Fuck that. It's me trying to get you to understand my thought process using specific platforms, all right? You want ExoCharts? ExoCharts.com. You want Bookmap? Bookmap.com, okay? That's all you got to do, all right? Check this. So the big sell, this is what I said. So the big sell that has appeared on ETH at this point, notice it's in one area. If the sellers can't force price down, it means buyers are absorbing everything, which would lead ETH to move back up, okay? So we look at this. You see this red area right here? That area right there was filled with sells, okay? Now look at where the sells were happening. They were happening at the top part of the range. So one of two things could be happening at this point. Someone is quickly taking a little bit of a profit, okay? Or someone's trying to go short from this point, all right? But the buyers that came in previously to mark price up, they need to step in at this point to show promise that they want to hold this range. As we go down, we see. So what we want to see is the guys holding this range. If they can't, then ETH will simply drop back down. This is what we want to see in EXO. It's after a move down or up This is when the activity comes into play, okay? So then what happened? The same candlestick started to show some interest from the players coming in. You see the green deltas? Happy days. Let's work with just colors, not numbers, colors, all right? Then we go down to here, candle. So the logic, hold on. Are we Yeah, are we still on, guys? Are we still on? All right, I'm going to keep going. Look at the delta at the lowest point of the candle. So the logic says that the buyers are stepping in after this move lower, okay? So to send price back to the VWAP. So the projection was from this point to go up to the VWAP, which was 1926 from 1917. These are quick opportunities to take advantage of leveraged trades. Look at the green delta right now. It's coming in big at that point, okay? From that point, they came and hit the VWAP itself. We go and clear out that. Where we at? Let's go to ETH. They came up. They came to that ETH VWAP right there. Happy days. And as we go into it, we want to see confirmation of even more movement, and we start diving into it. And this is where we confirm the VWAP must hold. Funnily enough, it's happened when the London has closed. And inside of this range right here, you can see that they tried to sell off, but they were overwhelmed with all of the positive deltas. Look, 35% on the delta, but it was divergence on the candle because price ended up negative, but the delta was there positive. So that suggested that price was closing higher as it was trading, okay? Now, with that being said, it continues on, and then we wait for another proof of the move. 680 orders came in again. Right, where was it? Inside of this zone, 648. From that sell-off, that led to another move up, okay? And then it just continued from that point. And that is where, in principle, I opened up my trade on Ethereum and loaded up from 1921 to see the move up. Now, where was I in relation to the hybrid, all right? So check this out. Let's go to Ethereum on the hybrid. Now, look at this. I noticed on one of my time frames, was it the 256 one? No, what time frame was it? It was a 13-hour. Where was it? Here we go. The 13-hour time, 11-hour chart, okay? There was a violet vector candle coming into play right now on the 11-hour chart, and it was literally a few moments before the candle closed. Started to see the reversal back up. Okay, now this obviously it closed. It wasn't the 11. It wasn't the 11 one. Where was it? It was a different time frame. It was a different time. There it is. It's the 9-hour chart. All right. So it started to creep up to the last moments, and then of course I went to enter it in at 1921 because during the violet vector, this was still a violet vector at 1921. Okay. I expected that the start of the next candle would start to bring it up. What happened instead? The candlestick itself actually went up. So when you see a violet vector candle like this and it's moving all the way back up, it's saying to you that this is a run for liquidity, sweep down lower, bring it back up again. So there's not that much selling. In other words, there was selling that was happening at speed, but not really big volume, okay? That's really important because then you're going to know if there's going to be a proof inside of a move or not, right? And that's really important, okay? Now, in regards to this trade itself, I'm gonna close it off before I go to bed because I don't plan on holding this trade at all because it's effectively a scalp for me. But I just wanted to show you guys the logic on how to use the hybrid in relation to exocharts. We know that with exocharts, there was activity happening with the orders. Look, 1.7 at that point, all right, 594. And look at where it's appearing. Zoom out. That little stupid thing right there is a trigger to lead up to a dirty move to the upside, all right? Let's take the same logic and look at Bitcoin, okay? Now, Bitcoin's price action is a little bit bold. All right, now, what have we got? In principle, ladies and gentlemen, we have had rotation non-stop around Bitcoin all day, okay? Now, earlier on, we saw it drop down. Yes, we saw the drop, and then we saw it come straight back up again, all right? This is consistent with them building positions, okay? Now, looking at the candlesticks, what am I seeing? Are we at all seeing any points of interest when you look at this? Based on what we've said, when you look at the numbers, what do you see is the average order? It's around 25, anything between 25 and about 80, all right? Those are your average orders. You only start paying attention to exocharts when you start seeing big orders. So let me give you an example of a big order. All right, not really seeing that much happening. So there you go. That's light on volume. Let's find a point in Bitcoin where they actually did make a big move with big orders. Here we go. So we got smack 99 orders right there. That's big. Then we see again 99 right there. And what you'll find with it is when you start seeing the same order, which is there or thereabouts, some might call it a coincidence, but some might, some will look at it and say, hold on a second. We've got various numbers being placed all the time. What are the odds of someone placing an order similar to someone else at the same place? Look. Bitcoin at 36,400, just slightly above that, 36,405, all right? Do we see it anywhere else? Are there any more 99 orders? I'm not seeing them on the sell side, on the bids, so I'm not seeing it. So I'm only made to believe that there's someone in here trying to look, we got 107 over here. So when you see these big orders coming in, you're then going to start saying to yourself, well, where's those big orders coming in? Look, that big order came up at the top side of there. What happened next? They ripped it back down. Again, you want to see it happening at the lowest point of the candlestick after a move to the downside. You don't want to see buying candles at the highest point of the move. Because look, someone went long, 28, 21, that's retail. They got trapped because no one was selling up there. But they were selling to the buyers. So that is really the inverse right there. So you've got to look at it that when on the right side, we look at this and say it's buying, okay? On the left side, it's selling. But in order to sell, someone has to buy. And in order to buy, someone has to sell. So when you find the highest point in the candlestick, especially with EXO, look, see this, 22, 31, it's all coming in at the top side of the candlestick. You don't want to go long from there. You want to go long from the lowest point in the candle. And Ethereum, in my opinion, has the better way of understanding where the liquidity is. Sorry I'm doing this, guys. It's probably blowing your head off. But look, 1.7K on the orders, all right? Then you've got 594. You see that order there? You're saying to me, Artino, but look, they sold off there. There's 700 orders there. What the hell's going on there? How come it's gone back up again? Because they're absorbing. That's why. The buyers effectively were so overwhelming that they had absorbed this price point, okay? And look at where it was. It was at the lowest point of the range. This is what you look for, okay? You look for a bold move in the charts. Then you start paying attention. Let them play around with the range. Let them smack it up and down, all right? How would you understand that? Say you weren't using the high EXO charts. Well, you would go into the smaller timeframes to understand how they are behaving. What do we see at the lows of Ethereum right here, okay? Stopping volume candle. That was the trigger for me. Although I had my stop to say, get out at 1900, all right? I said, forget it, I'm going to close it. I saw the stopping volume candle. It started to move back up, closed out, and I said, oh my God, it's everything we talk about in the live streams. Without the EXO charts, okay? Think about this, all right? Deviation away from the moving average, green vector candle, stopping volume, green vector candle again, giving me the clue that something's going to happen, and it's starting to climb up. Now, of course, during certain market hours, the London closed and what have you, we're seeing price slowly but surely drift up. We're probably going to get some activity going into tonight, okay? But if that was happening during the day and I saw that, I'd take advantage of it the same way. If that was London Open or if it was going into the New York Open, that would lead to a way more aggressive move. But it's hybrid 101. First green vector candle above the 50 EMA. Where is it? It's not here. Because that's not above the 50, that's below the 50 EMA. That's not above the 50, that's within the 50 EMA. Principally, that's above the 50 EMA. But we've got the 200 EMA as a potential resistance, which is why I'm looking at closing that position, okay? Green vector candle right here above the 50 and the 5 and 13 EMA, looking like they want to expand. Are they getting ready to make a move? That leads me over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin now is trading sideways. I hate it. But we've now had, in principle, recovery of a vector candle. So we take the wick. Look how they just swept up. Take the wick and look at where we are. We are currently trading on the side of the 50% of the vector candle. Let's find another support zone for Bitcoin. Take the green vector candle where it effectively closed and go to where it opened, in principle. That's another support area. So now we've got two areas of support on Bitcoin. Now, if you're going to start playing the trades over the weekend, you've logically got to say to yourself, and this one's from me, you've got to say to yourself, right, from now until where? Let's just go and have a look. We've got 1 hour and 35 minutes. Look, 5 and 13 EMA still holding out the flavor, ladies and gentlemen. They haven't broken it down. So a holder himself does not need to be getting rid of his positions because they keep sweeping and coming back up. All right? So this is really important that Bitcoin in the next hour and 35 minutes, the start of the new candle, should see Bitcoin come back up and recover the wick. After an aggressive sell-off that happened today, all right, Bitcoin still managed to pump back up. This green vector candle right here could be the deciding factor on the 1 hour time frame. All right? Because if we go back and look at Bitcoin's price action, it always leads to, or every move up, always leads to Bitcoin showing a green vector at the lowest point, right? Where do you see that? You see it right here, start of something. See it right there, a start of something, and then bang, they shift out, go back again. Where else do we see it? And this is when Bitcoin's trading sideways. We could say that that green vector candle right there was the start of the move to the upside. They came back, recovered it, 50%, yippee-ki-yay to the upside, done. Let's go to another point, all right? Here we go. Move happening to the downside. What do you see? You see a cluster of vectors. They're all happening inside of this zone. Coming back into the red vector candle region, you then see the first green vector candle above the 50 EMA. That one, okay? Why that one, guys? And I've spoken about this before. Why this green vector candle and not this vector and not this vector? Look at the candlestick itself. It's been whipped and whacked, all right? It's not good, all right? Look at this candlestick. Went up, it went down, all right? No good. Straight after, it come back down. What I'm doing is telling you what to be aware of. So when you do see a green vector candle in the future, look at ones like this. That's above the 50 EMA, above the 5 and 13 EMA, okay? When you see it in hindsight, let's do the hindsight story, okay? Let's do it. When you're looking at it in hindsight, you're going to be saying to yourself, hold on a second, there's a green vector candle that's appeared above the 50 EMA. Does the criteria say what? There has to be a move to the downside. Have I already seen a move already suggesting that they could be getting ready to move up? I look left. Can I see imbalances? Yes, I can. So I'm logically going to be trading back in towards those imbalances. You take your fucking long from that point, ladies and gentlemen. You put your stop outside the structure and let it go. That's all you got to do. Yeah, it sounds easy. Yes, it is in fucking hindsight, ladies and gentlemen, but we talk about this all the time, okay? This is what you've got to do. You've got to pick your spots. We see the green vector above the 50 EMA. Take the confluences of the following. You've got the psychological levels. Big move up, okay? Look left. They're already showing interest. What do I always say? Look for the green and blue vector candles appearing at the lows of a move. This is what you've got to look for to see a move to the upside, all right? When it comes to the downside, you've got to wait for a big move up. But the problem with the downside movement itself, ladies and gentlemen, all right, you've got this problem of getting caught out. So look at this, for example. You've got this play right here, all right? What are you looking for here? You're still seeing green and blue vector candles at the top side of the move, all right? Now, we say that the first red vector candle that breaks the 50 EMA is your trigger. Where is that? That is right there, okay? For day trading opportunities, that's what you're looking for. When you're holding a swing trade or you're a day or a holder as such, it doesn't kick. You know, you can't really, you can, but you have to use it on higher time frames. So you want to be going like on the 4-hour chart and base your decisions off there if you're a swing trader. That's really what you need to be doing, okay? You base it off higher swing time frames, all right? But as a day trader, you're looking to exploit certain moves. All you've got to do is just wait for Bitcoin to make a bold move. That's when you get triggered. That's when you say, you know what, I'm stepping into this bad boy. I've got a logic. Wait for the green vector candle. And you can base it off any time frame. Go into look, the 5-minute time frame, for example. Look at this. And go to the 5-minute time frame, and you'll see the green and blue vector candles appearing all the time. Look, you had this move. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits down. A blue vector candle appears. Then, of course, this one led to a big spike up. But could we have seen that happening on the smaller time frames for a second? Let me show you. What do you see right here? Well, logically, a lot of people will be saying, Tino, there's a W formation here. There's an M formation. There's a pattern. There's this. There's that. Okay, so what color distinctively comes out and pops in front of you every time you look at it? What is it? Blue and green vector candles appearing inside of this range. So when you see this after a move to the downside, you logically say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to draw off this W formation, okay? Now, let's just go back in time. Yep, it's hindsight and all that BS, all right? Let's look at it like this. You could say to yourself from this point, now we know what's happened next. You could say to yourself from this logic, right? I've got a collection of blue and green vectors appearing inside of this range. The daily open seems to be holding out. As you're waiting for the daily open, you're witnessing it and you're saying, hold on a second, I've seen red vector candles appearing here. Okay, but I can see that the red vector candles, they're starting to show a bit of behavior where they're breaking down, but they're not breaking down. And when you see red vector candles coming into play but not going anywhere, it's telling you that they're loading up on the longs and keeping price within this range to effectively induce the retail trader who's going short to stay short. He tried to liquidate him with this move up. He's now given them another reason. Where's the other reason? Right here. You see these little vectors? This is on the 1 minute time frame. But you can take this and put it onto the higher time frames. It just takes a little longer. Okay? From that point, you can see they're holding out. What do you see? Green and blue vector candles. Stopping volume, green vector at the lowest point. You can already see they're forming the structure. And if they can hold out in this zone, if they're selling but not breaking it down, what is that telling you? It's telling you they're getting ready to do something else, but they want you to see it as going down. Let's get rid of the hybrid system for a second. How many retail traders are looking at this thinking, okay, it's going to get ready and roll over by the principle of patterns, wedges, and Toblerones and triangles, whatever the fuck they need to be, okay? They're not looking inside the candles. They're looking at the pattern of the candle. You need to know what's going on inside of the candlestick. You take a car to a mechanic and you say to him, I can hear this clicking noise. And he listens to the car and it's clicking, clicking, clicking. What's the first thing he's going to do? He's going to open the hood of the car. And then he's going to start using certain tools. When you have the hybrid system, you are effectively opening the hood of the candlestick, of the way they're manipulating the play. And then, of course, bang, they shift out. Up you go. But if you had, this is what I'm saying. This trading is about trading is about the chance that you take based on what behaviors are coming into play. Okay? When you see the behavior forming in Bitcoin right here, you then say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to set myself along. I'm going to trade towards the full recovery of the vector candles. You would have caught that green vector, even though it was a surprise. If it wasn't going to be that green vector, it would have ended up leading to a move up regardless, because they were giving us the clue right here. If you don't know, well, if you can't expect a mechanic to pull out wonders if he's not going to open the boot or the bonnet for the car, all right? How are you going to fix my car, bro? Just because you can hear it? Yep, I bet that bad boy is busted on the manifold or whatever, okay? Or a timing chain issue. You haven't even looked at the car. That's the first thing you're going to say. You're like, yeah, experience. I just know. I look at the size of my ears. Now, please, can you give me a proper diagnosis? This is how retail traders are trading, like that, okay? Now, some do have success. Don't get it twisted. I'm trying to portray an idea here. I'm trying to give you an analogy of understanding what's going on inside, okay? When you have an understanding of how something is going on and building up inside, you're going to add more confidence to your ability as a trader to take advantage of a play. Because once you've got that logic, okay, inside of the range right here, there's nothing you can do, bruv, but take the trade. It's done. You will know if you are wrong when you are shaken out of it. And every time you open a trade, you've got to say to yourself, how much money do I know I'm going to lose? I'm happy to lose this amount. Cool. Once you know that, you don't need to worry about nothing else. You improve the odds of the trade working in your favor by setting it yourself up to take advantage of specific plays. If we start diving into the concept of liquidity, oh my days, that brings a different story, okay? Yeah, we can start talking about exo charts and all the gang over there and what have you. And we can see right now that, what's been going on here? Here we go. So Ethereum's starting to work up, 1957, happy days. Actually did a nice little pump up there to 69. That's cool. All right. It's playing out in this range right here. They've come back up and filled the imbalances. Oh, we got 495 down here, 286, 433, 1.1. Okay. 242, recover the imbalance. What's going on here? Someone's doing something. So I'm starting to see interest. 618 yet again, 580, 412. All right then. So we're now starting to see 574. So we've got a heavyweight coming in. Someone's playing the game. All right. So we're going to pay close attention to that. Bitcoin ain't doing nothing. Let's just go to the Bookmap for a second. This brings a whole new wave of thinking. All right. So now you got the Bookmap itself. Now Bitcoin's come back down to the V's of the WAP. And now it's moving away from that point. We're getting a lot of activity. Maybe this move that happened in Bitcoin earlier on, in principle, is going to trigger something. So the logic would say that if they're going to be selling, they're going to be waiting for price to move up before they can trigger those sell orders at the top side of this move. So that means Bitcoin could make its way towards 37. All right. If it doesn't and it shits the bed, done. We then wait. Okay. Because now is their only chance that they can really manipulate price. Whatever exchange, all right? No market is open right now. Of course, money moves 24/7, all right? But there's no market that is open right now other than cryptocurrency, all right? We call it the dead gap time. And that basically means that there's no markets. It's just market maker versus liquidity provider versus exchange, just to get that money in and out. And that's what it's all about, okay? So that's what we've got to take into consideration. Okay, look, limit sales coming in minus 19% at the top side of the move. I hope that brought. My guy, you need to correct me and let me know when I'm saying it right from wrong. But you need to understand, you need to keep in mind, we've got a red vector candle recovery coming into play right now with BTC. Are people buying into this right now? I'm looking at that liquidity at 38. It stinks. It stinks. Is anyone buying into this right now? Let's refresh this bad boy. Ah, days. All right, then here we go. So we had a lot of interest right here. $292 million worth of longs opened at 36,606. Where's the liquidation? Where is the liquidation? It hasn't been liquidated. Or have they? Oh my days, 292. It's not there. They haven't been liquidated just yet. I'm looking closer to see the liquidity. It's not there. No, here we go. That's the liquidation for the 50X at 292. I can't seem to find the liquidations for the long, for the 100X traders. Don't know why. I may need to look in a little bit closer. Here we go. Oh, they've been liquidated already. There we go. Right there. So they... $292 million worth of longs are opened at 36,600. $292 million worth of longs liquidated at 36,400. 200. Fucking hell. Look at that. Free money for the markets and the exchanges. That's despicable, man. Absolutely despicable. Rough. Let's have a look at some altcoins. What we got going. Okay, so what have I got here? Pendle. 10 million, 12 million. Just go and have a look at the altcoins, Solana, see what Solana's doing. Look, man, I'm telling you, Solana is a monster, all right? Solana is holding out fantastically. Look at that. Support trigger right there. Wonderful. Absolute wonderful. We projected this. It hasn't played out in the sense where it's fully completed just yet. But where is Solana? Solana, here we go. So, look at that. Support trigger inside of this zone, okay? And then Solana's pretty much done the flavor right there on the support. Again, look, 50 EMA rejection, red vector candles, 1, 2, 3, look left, coming into the recovery of this area where previous support came into play. The first green vector candle that appeared above the 50 EMA came in right here. This was a strong candle, but they came back down and took it, because the liquidity is much lighter on Solana than it is anywhere else, okay? So always factor that in. When you're trading a specific altcoin, okay, always factor in the market cap. The less market cap it has, the more prone to volatility you're going to get. So there is a high chance that the vector candle could be recovered. So always have that in your mind, okay? Take that into consideration. Now, going into that logic itself, we can see that Solana, in principle, would need to hold this point. Effectively, a valid moment to run along would be if they can confirm the 50 EMA. So price needs to get above the 50 EMA and the 5 and 13 EMA, which are these two moving averages right here, need to cross over the 50 EMA and start expanding like this. Take a picture of this structure like so. Wait there. You see this? You want that. that right there. You want to start seeing this, okay? You want to see that happening. 5 and 13 EMA expanding, all right? Then you see that expansion right there. It suggests that the trend is moving, okay? Look left. Do you have any vectors that you can trade into, okay? With that being said, let's look at the current price point. We don't see that structure happening. So if we go over here, look at where we were right there, okay? Moving away, it's coming up, playing about a little bit. We've had a vector candle, it's come up, it's come back down, then it's shot off. We've got the same presentation right here. Below the 50 EMA, 5 and 13 EMA, holding at the daily open, holding the 200 EMA, holding the psychological low. It's all confluence is all building up to suggest that we're going to see higher prices in Solana. The trigger will be once you see the 5 and 13 EMA get over the 50 EMA. That will suggest that the trend has got the weight to move. Look left, you're trading into what? You're trading into the logic of the red vector candle right there, and then another red vector candle right here, going on to a higher time frame. Is there anything else that we could be trading into? Just get rid of all of that. Okay, so we've got that red vector candle zone right there, that bigger one. So you then say to yourself, okay, take the high, take the low, find out where we are. Look at how they've been respecting the midpoint of that. So there is potential interest inside of this zone. If they can support that point and move up towards it, they can sustain and clear that range. They're going to come and fill the remainder of the vector candle right here. So that's an area that they haven't tapped. There's liquidity there for the market maker to effectively sell into. Comprende? That's the logic right there for Solana. What other coins have been making a move, guys? Let's have a look. Let's look at XRP. I've got a love-hate relationship with this coin, man. Winds me up at best of times. DOGE. DOGE has held out. Look at that. We spoke about that bad boy today. Drop, retrace, continuation. Now, look, it's there it is. There it is right there on DOGE. That same play right there, 5 and 13 EMA, crossover, off it goes. That is a simple strategy that you can take advantage of, but you've got to give it room to move about, all right? Always consider the altcoin that you're trading as well. Let's go into some other altcoins that we've got going up here. Who's winning? So GALA seems to be holding out well. Where's GALA at? Very good. Nice little play. GALA hasn't stopped. GALA has not stopped, ladies and gent. It's doing so well, all right? That is fantastic. It's doing well. Range daily high, looking for a bit of a retrace. Be careful, because look at it. It's snappy, all right? It's a chopper, up and down, chop city, but you got to be careful with it. Altcoin, light volume and what have you. You know what to do. Play the game. ARCs, very choppy, not liking it. EGLD, choppy again, not really liking it. NKN, choppy sideways price action, very much sideways. But listen, when you see this logic of sideways price action, okay, when it's time to move, this bad boy is going to keep climbing, okay? So keep that in mind because it's consolidating very well. Sweep up, sweep up, sweep up. So they're consolidating this well. They need to stay within this 800 EMA, but look at the sweeps. They are happening as it's going higher, so that's very important right there, okay? Let's have a look at Atom. Atom USDT, Cosmos. Cosmos is Greek for people. My people, where we at? Okay, so we put our zones of 1077, nearly took it, but not quite. Got a big structure right here, but it's already done a big move. And if they are going to sustain it, then yeah, happy days. It's going to come back up again. But I'd be very careful because it's 3 times now it's hit this 200. And this time on the 200, they seem to be stalling at this point. So we could see a little bit more movement back up, but I'd be careful with Cosmos because it hasn't stopped moving up for quite a bit. So just keep that in mind, all right? SHIB, it's not job. Never mind. Render token. Where's render? Here we go. Okay, so look, this is perfect. Look at this. You've got rise, retrace, continuation. That's what we're looking for. Notice that the selling at the top side hasn't happened as aggressively. Okay, this on the 1 hour time frame. Selling at the top side of render token is suggesting that maybe they could gun for another move to the upside because they're not done with it. Why? Violet vector candles appearing like this is saying to me that there's selling happening, but it's not as aggressive as we would anticipate it to be. Okay, when you start looking at sell-offs from different ranges, look, this is where you see the red vector candles justified. First red vector candle that breaks down on the 50 EMA. You didn't see it right here, but this zone right here would be filled with red vectors. Let me just have a look. Let me just make sure At that zone was a vector candle. So the hour time frame. Going into that logic, let's just go back. Here we go. Is there a vector candle inside of that range? There she is. The red vector candle right there. First red vector candle that breaks below the 50 EMA. Now, what's the difference? You've got one red vector candle up there, but didn't really break down at the 50 EMA because it showed support. Naturally, it did come down. So this is where you're saying, I want to test the retrace. Always wait for the retrace. And this is an example of the drop, the retrace, okay? There you've got the true red vector candle from that point, because then that suggests a continuation of the move down. And then off it goes and hits the next moving average. And then, of course, comes back up again and then rolls over. Next logic, first red vector candle that appears below the 50 EMA. There's the logic right there. You see it? Happy days. They drop down, retrace, and then they continue back down again. All right? So that's that's the simplicity of the hybrid system. All right? If you want more on that, go to the Traders Reality website. There's a free course on there. You've got to become a member, bronze member, to do it. Everything that I talk about is explained in that free course. It's 1 hour and 10 minutes long. Ain't going to take you no time to go through that bad boy. All right? KASPA. People want me to talk about KASPA. Here we go. All right. Yeah, KASPA's doing numbers. Yeah, very interesting numbers. Doesn't look like it wants to stop either. All right, then, cool. So here's the logic of the rise, retrace, continuation. So look, this is what you want. Vectors at the lowest point. There's your little W formation. You can draw W's and M's all day long, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not understanding what they're doing inside of these zones right here, okay, then you're going to see a lot of failed W formation. You'll be saying, but Tino, there's a W, like, look, there was a W right here. Why didn't it work? Well, what's the difference between this W formation and this W formation? It's bright as day. They've got it in colors. It sticks out like a sore thumb. You've got green vectors on the second leg. And the first leg is within the second leg, which tells you what? Look at the selling on the on the violet vector. It's appearing at the lowest point, suggesting that volume is starting to rise, but it also means it could be slowing down because the selling's at the lowest point. Look at the previous selling. They wanted to trap. They instantly reversed it. You see a red vector candle after a move to the downside. Look at the clusters, how they appear. Top side, first red vector candle above the 50 EMA, happy days, drop. Then they see another one. Then you see another one aggressively at that. Hits the range daily low, shift back up again. That's when you start paying attention to this range, because that's when Mr. Market Maker has popped his little head up and said, in the eyes of good old Mortal Kombat, whoopsie. That's exactly what that is. All right? Cool. Man, I'm just letting it all out tonight. That is one thing for sure. Bitcoin, what are you doing? Climbing up. Ethereum, let's see our trade. Oh, man, I need to get out of this trade. I'm only staying in this trade whilst I'm staying live, so I'm just going to sit and watch this one play out. Yeah, I'm not holding this. I'm going to get rid of it. Can't be bothered to sit and babysit a scalp. Fuck that. No interest. Okay, what are you guys saying in here? What are you guys here? KASPA was listed on Binance today. Cool. Mortal Kombat is toasty. Is it toasty? Is it toasty or whoopsie? I thought it was whoopsie when the guy pops his head out. Yeah? ALGO. Let's have a look at ALGO. All right, then. ALGO. Believe it or not, guys, right? But ALGO is probably one of the only coins next to MATIC. Let's have a look at Maticius. Hold on a second. Has it done it? No, it hasn't. Ah, man. Next to MATIC, right? ALGO is probably one of those only assets that when they trend, they really trend. Like, look at this. Green vectors. Look at how they move. This is what you want for an altcoin, all right? The movement like this. Nice trickle. And you use the 5 and 13 EMA to work out the volatility of an asset, right? How often does it spike below it, above it, below it, above it, and leaves wicks behind? Look at these candlesticks. They are thick and thick. Like, look, thick, 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 thick. These are proper vectors, all right? When they sell, they sell, all right? When they buy, they buy. All right, look at that. Look at that for a candlestick. No wicks. It meant business. It went long from that point, serious, and it closed strong from that point. It did not stop. All right, that's a big boy candlestick When you see that in an altcoin, you really want to be paying attention to it. Look, selling off nicely. It moves and trades really well. Sometimes it gets a bit tricky. Don't get it twisted. You can see that, all right? When they're gunning for liquidity, this is what accumulation's about. But once they've achieved the accumulation, they start their trending, all right? So it's a really nice asset to be trading. So keep that in mind, ladies and gents. What else? Fidelity just filed for a spot ETF. What does that mean to you know? Wi-Fi, that's it. Wi-Fi USDT. I need to drink some coffee. Whoa. What? No. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about that. This is expensive stuff. I don't care. A fly just went in my milk. Sorry. I'm still drinking that. No, I'm not letting go of that. Sorry. Wi-Fi. Hold on a second. Wasn't this thing at 6,000? When did we look at this? Oh my days. Did it really move that much? Oh my days. Where the... I fucking missed it. 9th of November, man. That was last week, bruv. I remember saying to you guys, the tokenomics of Wi-Fi apparently are so much better than Bitcoin. Ah, you clown. What a guy. Oh. No, that's so bad. Okay. What have we got? Good for, yes, it is good for the immune system. Yeah. 3 whales own all the supply. What for? Wi-Fi. Well, you think Wi-Fi to 100K before Bitcoin. Could you imagine if Wi-Fi did get to 100K before Bitcoin? And you know what? That would be terrible. All right. That would be crazy. That would be an insult to Bitcoin. But then that would just go to show that there are people that are just, you know, because this is an expensive altcoin. This is more expensive than ETH. All right. So these are like the hidden gems, you know. What else we got? Sure. Check out GLM. All right, cool. All right, then what else we got? GLM. All right, big move up. Nothing much. I guess, listen, guys, the moves are really probably and most likely going to happen. I mean, we've got range daily highs and lows that have been breached with these altcoins, all right? So just be careful when you're looking at trading these. You should not be looking for longs right now in these altcoins that move like this, all right? When you see this spiky behavior, no, stay away from it because you could effectively get trapped. Now, if you're already in longs, you're effectively moving your stop in principle. But again, just be very careful. I left money on the table with my ETH trade, so that's why I go back to my scalping and get rid of it. You know, start a new trade up. How we doing? All right, so we're doing well with that ETH trade right now. Okay, so we're cool with that bad boy. I want to... I'm not staying up for that. Sorry, I'm too tired for that. All right, so Bitcoin's now making a move. Let's just quickly go into XO charts for a second to understand where we are. What's that liquidity saying? Look, sorry, Bookmap. So we've got some sellers coming in. Book is inbound to 13%, out of hours markets, happy days. Profile starting to build up around the 37,000 zone. Let's quickly go into the XO chartage. And what have we got here? What did we say earlier on about Ethereum? Here we go, look. Exhaustion. Someone steps in at the lows right there. Look at 227, not enough. But let's look at the lows, 412. That came in. That's a big order. We keep going. 750. Okay. Someone stepped 367. Cool. 251. So the imbalance is present. All right. Someone's late to the party. Look. Someone's late to the party, 254, 722 comes into play. Now, this is going to help us understand if this move's going to continue. Why? Because if they sold off at this point and the buyers are going to take up the offers, in other words, to effectively absorb the guys that are selling, that means that we still got more room to climb up higher. All right? Notice that the sells are coming in at the highest point. Notice that the buys are coming in. This is where the imbalance is. This is a trap. That's why you see the candle come back down again. So we just got to wait and see if they can do that. Because look, the imbalance, green, 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 it's all imbalance. Price has opened up within the imbalance. So we're going to spike lower, spike up, and try and clear the range. Because look at these imbalances right here. Phenomenal. You're saying to me that they're not going to want to try and trap traders again at the 396. That was when Ethereum went to 1970. Bang! 400 orders at 1970. He and this guy here, 1.5, paid a very sad and sore price for that. So these are the clues that we get when we see these moves happen, all right? Cool. Let's see what it does. What else are you guys saying? Chart is disgusting. Yeah, Exo charts is good. Good night, Byrian. Mad love to you, bro. Exo charts is good. You know, I use other platforms like Jigsaw, depth of market for the bonds, all right? But when I'm trading, if I'm going to start trading cryptocurrency, I'm going to be basing my decisions. If I trade Bitcoin, I'm going to be looking at the Bookmap in relation to the VWAP on there and the deltas. At the same time, Bitcoin moves a little bit tricky, so I just get a little bit angry with Bitcoin sometimes. But when it comes to Exo charts, that's my go-to. I'm always using Exo charts to understand the order flow. Same way we did this trade for the NASDAQ. We projected out the zones. They came and hit the zones. Happy days on that. All right. And it always seems to be following the same thing. You go back and just look at the history of how they behave. Look at that. That's set up from last week. Bang. Instant reversal. Back up. They did it. Awesome play. All right, we keep on just going back and back, and we see the same shit happening over and over again. They always move away from the VWAP, come back into it, and go up. All right, and that's what I use Exo charts for. And then I pay it. I mean, I'll be straight with you all. I don't use Exo charts for order flow on NASDAQ. Why? The contracts are too bloody small. I would have to see a very significant contract, like something stupid like 300 orders on the NASDAQ to say to me, yeah, you know what? That is a big play. But they average around 150 orders, but that's even fast itself, and I just don't like it. It's too fast to read. And you are literally using, when you're trading NASDAQ on the futures markets, you are literally hoping that they just hold, and you are getting pumps. That's all you're looking for. You're looking for the pumps in the NASDAQ. And each point specifically at a certain point in the NASDAQ, like the VWAP or the daily low or the previous day's value area low or high, these are where you can assume that there's going to be a reversal from that point, all right? And when you've got that understanding in your mind about how it moves, you're going to then wait for price to get to those points first. And then you're going to make a decision and say, you know what? If they're all selling at this point, we know they're buying, loading up. Short sellers are getting trapped. They're going to be running to cover when price moves up. Red vector candle to the left, green vector candle to the right. Bang. Exo charts, Bookmap, Jigsaw, depth of market is pretty much the makeup and what's inside of a vector candle. I come to understand this before using all of that stuff. Why? Because the vector candle, I watched it so many times. I'm there watching it. And the way you identify without Exo charts, without the use of Exo charts, when you see, look at that, swipe lower, come back up. How do you identify 939 orders and 104 orders on the hybrid system? How do you identify it? What you do, you go back and you look to see if there are any green vector candles that are appearing inside of this range. This is the 15-minute time frame. No vectors. There's a green vector right there. But let's just look at the candlestick that we just saw, okay? This little candlestick right here, okay, with 900 contracts, right? It's a tick. It was the tick candle. Where is it? Hold on. It'll make sense in a second. So this is the candlestick right here, the tick candle. So we've got what? 5... So we've only got 1.5K. Okay, so we're not there yet. So that would mean how many times it changed hands? How long has it been going? Yeah, it's inside of this area here. So that means if we go to the 30-second time frame, that means there should be a green vector inside of this range right here. Come on. No, it's become a green vector. Okay, so where's the green vector? Look, that's what created the green vector at the highest point, climatic candle, all right? So now you know what a green vector candle looks like. That's what this is. That's what ExoCharts does. But I understand that without ExoCharts, and the way you do that is by looking at the speed of its movement. Speed of the candle. When you understand the speed of the candlestick, you already assume that this behavior is happening. Look, where are those green imbalances now? A minute ago, it was full. Where have they gone? They've been absorbed. Sellers, okay? Selling into all of them, slowing it all down, bringing it back down, okay? This is a 30-second time frame, so it's always going to be fast like that. But your best bet is to use the 1 minute time frame. And when you see a fast candle after it's been moving up, it's a climatic candle, it's a trap. That is represented with shit like this. See that? Delta's all at the highest point, right? Imbalances at the highest point. People buying at the highest point, okay? 158, 297, 97, 104. 200 just come in to sell off right there, okay? Cool. So let's just monitor this. 830, selling. 669, selling, okay? 338, selling, but it's going up, all right? You look closer, you can see the tick, 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 up, down, up, down. Buyers are absorbing the sellers. So as long as they stay sustained in this area, this move is going to continue up because they're selling into them. And the buyers are like, fuck this, let's go. We're not allowing it to go down. I've been loading up too much. How's this dude going to feel at 750? How's this dude going to feel at 412? But what if this dude at 412 and 750 are currently selling at 682, 843? That's the question you got to ask yourself. It's not just simply find a number and hope that it's going to be positive and it's going to continue. You've got to have that conversation with yourself and say, you know what? Maybe at this point, I think it's going to go up. Maybe not, maybe. All right? Right now, where are my imbalances? They're all gone. They're all at the lowest point. So they're going to come down and see if these guys mean business. Let's see if they truly do mean business. And I'm going to sit and wait and watch this with you. All right? Let's see if they mean business about here. Let's see. All right? This is Ethereum. Because this order here doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see another 900. It could be different order sizes. But we've seen that the lowest point right here, they started to lift the ask. So this is really important. It's going to tell me if I'm sustained in the idea that this move is going to continue up. So I've got to watch it. And this is what you've got to do. This is real time. I've got to wait and see. Am I going to see it? What do I see here? 470, 159. I'm seeing the ask side right there. Okay. Let me see how it's behaving over here. So I've got this chart. Let me just get rid of this. Oh, someone's coming in. Where's Ethereum? Click that bad boy, scroll up. There we go. So what have I got? Here's the profile. I'm already in value area highs. Okay, cool. So what we got? Is someone coming in? There it is. Someone stepping in, 192. Okay, so sales are coming in again. So when we're watching this right now, we're already saying and seeing, we're already seeing that sellers came in at this point right here. Okay? Wait. Sellers are already coming in at this point right now. All right? So this is a little bit of a resistance. So we're going to wait and see what the next candle can do. Ooh, someone's stepping in. Got some orders. So they couldn't break down lower. And this is where most of the selling activity was because this is the point of control of the candlestick. Okay? Let's get that chest hair. You know what? There's the chest hair. There you go. Knock yourself out. Thank you, man. 158, 142. Okay? Now, here we go. Look. There's your vector. Is there a vector there? Hold on. Speed of the candle? No, it spiked up. That's on the 1 minute time frame. Never mind. Oh, that turned into a red vector that then. Okay, then. Cool. Remember, this candlestick doesn't represent the 1 minute time frame. It's the tick chart. Okay? So that roughly means if I'm going to put the time, add time on that. Quickly go into there. Time. Press that. Close. Roughly 5-6 minutes. Okay? Yeah, 3 to 5 minutes. Out of hours obviously takes a little bit longer, all right? But look, 193. We've got selling happening down here. Look, absorbing inside of that zone, that 9-3 guy, he's there. So now we're going to see, okay, they tried to sell off, but it didn't happen because someone stepped in at this point on Ethereum, okay? So now we're going to say to ourselves, if they can hold this point, then I am sustained in the idea they want to go up, okay? So I've got to now wait for the commitment to come in. I'm seeing 172, 138, 193. I'm just giving you This what I'm doing now is just exo charts, and this is during out of hours markets when the markets are all closed except cryptocurrency, and it's prone to volatility as well. All right, but what I'm looking for is another big order to come in, and then you just need to sit and wait for the order. Once the order comes in, but you've got to have this conversation. Look at where we are. We are trading above the VWAP. We've come away from the test of the VWAP, which is this pink line right here. And now we're just paying attention to these orders that are coming in. And when you start paying attention to how these orders come in, you can see 157, 187. Look at how fast they move down to a zone before they come back up. They're doing it now. Someone is stepping in. This area seems to be an area of interest. Look, they're selling into them. They're buying into them. All right. Someone's stepping in at this point. Okay. They're trying to hold it. They already came down and the point of control was right here. So they're going to want to really hold this range. Now we're seeing it collectively. 200 orders, 199, 204, 189, 202. Someone's doing something here, all right? So the market's going to gravitate to the area where it can get the best ask price and the best bid, okay? So now it looks like it wants to continue higher. And if the sellers don't come into this point right here, that means that the bids are looking to be bidding up, forcing aggressive buyers to step in to bring prices up. If they're lifting the ask or lifting the bid, there's two ways they can do it, all right? Remember, on the buy side over here is where they're being sold to. On the sell side over here is where guys are buying, okay? Now, 329245. So it looks like they want to hold this point. Now it's the point of control of the candlestick because that's where 717 came in. You're watching the order coming in and you are building the profile to justify why you should take a long or you should take a short from a specific point. You're using volume that's coming into the candle, all right? Do this exercise. Talk through the idea of what's going on. And when you start doing that, you'll then start to get a feel for how they behave at specific points in the charts. One dude is selling at 759 right there. He's overwhelmed with all these guys absorbing the buys in this range. Boy, I think that's enough. And then 442's come in with... Yeah, they're going to pump this bad boy. They're going to go for it. There's too much commitment coming in. The guys of buyers, there it is. Off she goes. Imbalance galore. Come on, take that 1965. Test the 192 up here to grab the same amount of interest. Watch. 192 comes in, then someone should be coming. Oh, what 453 is just coming. Someone sold at the highest point right there, putting pressure on the guys. Let's see if they can get overwhelmed by it to mark price up. I'm going to end up staying. Come on. Where are you at on the chart? Slowly but surely climbing. That would then justify coming back into the recovery of the wick. There she goes. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The same interest that come in at 192, 119, 730. It got their interest. It got their attention. Now they're going to run for the liquidity. Yippee-ki-yay to the upside recovery of the wick. Blue vector candle. There she is right there. No selling. So the buyers absorb the sales. 759. We just talked you through that logic. All right. It's a little move, but you don't know that this move could lead to Ethereum to move up because it's exactly the same logic that I had when I took my trade on Ethereum down here. Okay. It's the same logic. No different to what we did. It just happened to reverse and go in our favor like what this is doing right now. All 829, 321. No one's selling yet. Okay? Eating the imbalances. Yippee-ki-yay. $1,967. 970. Blue vector. Full recovery of the wick. I hope that makes sense, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that makes sense. Sorry. Of course this asshole's going to move. Of course he is. When does he ever move? I don't like Bitcoin. I don't like it. I really don't, because it will do nothing. I focus on something, it gets jealous, it then moves. I do like Bitcoin. I'll be straight with you. Sometimes Bitcoin, okay? Wow. Sometimes Bitcoin can give you the heads up on what's going on. Now, you might think I'm batshit crazy for this, but I sometimes look at Bitcoin when I'm looking to project out price for other assets. Why? because Bitcoin is so volatile, right? If it's not going to move aggressively at certain points, even when there's news coming out, I always start to think to myself, maybe if they're holding Bitcoin, and given how sporadic the crypto industry is, I think to myself, maybe Bitcoin is underlying support right now, which could be support that flows over to other assets. Call me mad, but I've stared at this punk for too long, right? I'm always watching his heartbeat. I'm getting sentimental now with Bitcoin. Anyways, we're going to have to start closing off our trade, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Eating the liquidity. Someone selling again. 154, 171, 60. Here we go. Back into that. Nice little pump right there. Now they're going to test the intention of the 829 right there to see if they do mean business. Guys, mad love and respect to you all. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Please trade safely, and I hope you've learned a thing or two regarding exo charts. All right? Take care of yourselves, guys. Check out tradersreality.com, and I'll see you on Monday. Peace.